Welcome to you all. With the blessings of our Honorable Founder President Sir, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, our Honorable Chancellor Sir, Dr. Atul Chauhan, our respected Senior Vice President Sir, Sri U. Ramachandran, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Dr. Ashok Kumar Srivastava, our respected Registrar Ma'am, Dr. Amrita Saha, our respected Dean of Academics Sir, Dr. Ankur Kumar Ganguly, and our respected Dean of International Relations and the Amity Schools of Education, Hospitality and Travel and Tourism, Dr. Shauli Mukherjee Ma'am. It is my privilege to welcome you to today's guest lecture on the theme Manifestation of Tourism in Contemporary Times, Production and Consumption Patterns, that will be delivered by our esteemed speaker for today's session, Dr. Gavinolla Mahender Reddy. Dr. Reddy is currently serving as an associate professor and the head of the Department of Tourism and Hotel Management, Central University of Karnataka, where he is contributing significantly to teaching, research, and academic leadership in the domain of tourism studies. Over several years of dedicated experience in the academia, he has previously been associated with premier institutions such as the National Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Hyderabad, and has also extended his academic footprint internationally as a guest researcher and lecturer at the Vidzeme University of Applied Sciences in Latvia. He holds a PhD in tourism and an MBA in tourism and hospitality, and his academic journey reflects a rare blend of scientific grounding and managerial insight, beginning with a foundation in biosciences and evolving into a specialized focus on tourism and hospitality studies. Dr. Reddy's interests span a wide and deeply relevant spectrum, including sustainable tourism, responsible tourism, wildlife tourism, heritage management. His work consistently engages with some of the most pressing questions with our time: how tourism can align with sustainable development goals, how local contexts can be meaningfully integrated into global networks. He has been an active participant in international academic mobility and research initiatives, including the Erasmus Plus programs and European Social Fund projects. His academic contributions are both extensive and impactful. He has authored and co authored numerous journal articles and book chapters across leading international platforms, addressing themes such as digital transformation in tourism, post pandemic resilience, food tourism research trends, and so on. And in addition to his research and training, Dr. Reddy has actively contributed as a resource person in national and international training programs, working closely with institutions such as the National Institute of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, etc. Sir is also an active member of professional bodies such as International Tourism Studies Association and continues to contribute to academic communities that shape tourism discourse at both national and global levels. We are truly honored to have you, sir, with us today, and I am certain that your insights will enrich our understanding and inspire meaningful reflection among the students as well as the faculty. Welcome once again, sir, and may I request you to kindly proceed with the session.
Okay, madam. Okay, very good morning, all the participants. And I, before I start the session, I would like to thank uh, the management, the University of Amity University, Kolkata, particularly head of the department, Dr. Vandita Hajra, madam, and Dr. Devashish Bhatt, who gave the opportunity to share my knowledge related to the given topic. So I'll share that PPT before I start. I hope it is visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is visible, sir.
Okay. So is it clear now, madam? Like a full screen?
I think full screen is to be done.
Are you
It
able to
is.
see that?
It is not yet full screen, sir. It is still showing in the slideshow mode. The slide is visible now, sir.
Full screen?
Not full screen. I think you need to go to the slideshow option and then select full screen, maybe.
Now I have selected from slideshow.
It is fine, sir. We can move ahead.
Maybe I'll share entire screen. That would be better. I don't know.
That is better.
Mm.
Can you see the full screen now, madam?
It takes time. It will come.
Devashi, sir, you are not audible. Uh,
Am I audible now?
Yes.
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 Is the screen visible?
No,
No, it's
no.
all dark. I think it is on the process of getting the visibility.
Is it visible right now, madam?
No, sir, not yet.
No.
I don't know.
Sir, your screen is visible to us.
Full screen or
It's not exactly full screen, but I think we can go ahead with this.
okay? If that is fine, then
Yes, sir, yes.
I can go with the project visible mode. Okay. So okay. So yeah, let me start the session. Yes. Once again, I thank you all for the opportunity. And today I'm going to present a topic that is manifestation of tourism in contemporary times, focusing on production and consumption patterns. So in this presentation, I'm trying to cover what exactly the concept of or meaning of this manifestation of tourism, how it is changing in the contemporary time in terms of like how and why people are traveling, how it is changing over a period of time. Then I'll try to present a table where like the shift is happening from the recent past to the present And particularly, I'll be focusing on the forms of tourism that are basically the new forms of tourism or new production and consumption that is taking place in terms of the forms of various niche forms of tourism. Then I'll conclude the session. So yeah, before I begin, the uh, main presentation, I thought it would be easy to make a clarity on the basic terminology. So when we talk about manifestation, manifestation can be an expression or a display or showing something which is complex or abstract in nature. For example, there are hundreds of forms of tour, like, we experience so many things, but putting them into a proper shape or a format is, the ultimate goal of this presentation also. So basically making a complex things into a simple, presentable way. So that is, the ultimate meaning. And we all know contemporary, like, the recent past, how the people travel experience or experience the destinations and interact with the tourism services. The people who are involved in different stakeholders in providing services. So how are we consuming and producing those things, in the recent past, that we are going to consider. Then, of course, in general, the consumption production in the context of tourism, how the tourists use the tourism services or the products, how we are producing such kind of, or a service, providing services, such kind of products to the, the contemporary tourist. So making it to the contextualization that yes, this particular presentation we are, I'm going to present like how over a period of time the tourism is changing in terms of the production of destinations or new forms of tourism, basically how new forms of tourism are emerging, and how it is changing according to the changing patterns of uh, not just, the production, but because of the consumption, in terms of a change in their mindset of the people, their experience or their preferences. There are so many factors which are contributing for that. So considering all those things, how these things are changing over a period of time, and in that context, particularly what are the new forms of tourism have emerged over a period of time, those things I'll be concentrating. Initially, I thought to, just to present, the new forms of tourism. The Then we changed, like, it is a common topic. Why should I simply concentrate on that? Then I thought, like, maybe let me also go back to, like, some history of these changing patterns, and accordingly presenting some new forms of tourism would benefit the participants. With that idea, I'm trying to present certain new forms of tourism. So yeah, way back in 2013, I think now there is a huge technology, like we have AI, so many advanced technologies are there. But well before that, we tried to, contextualize all these new emerging forms of tourism, and I could make close to 300 different forms of tourism. Like, if you take in alphabetical order, like art tourism, architecture tourism, like, archaeological tourism, ancestral tourism, like that, it will go on. So like that, there are 300 plus forms of tourism, but all these forms are having like, a connection with a major or a broader forms of tourism, such as a culture, nature, activity, and alternative approaches. So that I'm going to cover in the next slide. So when we talk about, these forms of tourism, it is important to understand why people travel. Yes, traditionally people traveled for, escape or relaxation or a recreation for a play, and now people are, moving not just about the leisure recreation entertainment, but people are moving beyond such expectations, strengthening the family bonds, or maybe for a social interaction, or maybe, educational opportunity, and there are so many other related aspects. So in the process, what is happening now, because of the changing aspects, people are more interested in niche forms of tourism rather than focusing on a mass tourism. Considering that, like if I take into consideration for different aspects, like in terms of scale, earlier, the tourism was mainly it was a mass tourism, but now people are interested to visit the destination in a small number and specific focused groups and specific destinations, not a typical mass destinations. And the experience point of view, yes, mass tourism was mainly concentrating on a general or a common experience. There was no unique thing in terms of like a creative aspects or maybe experiential tourism, something. But now it is more of a personalized, more unique, more experiential tourism that is happening. Yes, cost, if you look at in the past, usually low, but yes, for certain destinations it was high also. But in general, if you take majority of the destinations, that was like if you wanted to visit, it was comparatively low, but now it is increasing. And so earlier people concentrated mainly on the popular tourist destinations, where there is the clear safety, security, and well, like a clear branding and well-known tourist attractions. But now, so the people are interested not just about the well-known tourist destination. They are interested to see something different, something new, something unique, and more specialized also. And most importantly, they don't want to visit in a groups or more crowded place. That is a most important change that is happening. And in terms of the number, yes, the quantity wise, like mass tourism was more of a numbers, but now instead of number, the tourist, like if you look at the changing pattern, that is more of a quality based, like they are interested in experiencing the quality um of destinations. So we try to have this transition like in a three different phases. Like before 2000, of course, we can take historical aspects, but that is now irrelevant at the moment. But yes, in the last, when we use the word contemporary, it should be like in the recent past. So considering that from past 30 to 40 years, if you look at historically what is happening in the tourism in terms of the production and consumption, in that regard, like I thought of taking a time period like before 2000 what happened, and between 2000, the year 2000 and 2020, 2020, and a later period, that is after 2020, that is the most significant period we can consider in terms of the changing aspects. So because of the several regions, and particularly the COVID-19 pandemic situation, which has contributed for changing the industry structure and consumption and production patterns as well. So in that regard, how the tourism is produced, like in terms of the supply side, if you look at before 2000, that is before the year 2000, early 2000, if you look at supply aspect, it was limited to, like most of the popular tourist destinations were Europe, to some extent North American countries. But most of the people used to go only to the European countries. There was no much preference to the South or Southeast Asian countries. If you look at now, the popular countries, what we are experiencing is something, you know, uh, like Southeast Asian countries like Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia. These are now the popular ones. Later now, again, in the recent past, we are experiencing even different destinations. But yes, early 2000, if you look at, the destinations were mainly limited to the European areas and European countries. And yeah, even development point of view, if you look at the products or maybe promotion or anything, if you take, it was mainly government led development. I remember, so when I started my career in tourism or studies, even before that also, like what we studied, everything, if you look at policies or planning or developmental activities historically, were mainly concentrated into the popular city centers, and that too promoted by the government. So there was a concept that, like if tourism means that government should develop the destination, they should only spend the money in terms of developing the infrastructure. But if you look at that particular aspect, there is a huge change. Okay, let me explain that later. But yes, travel agencies, like most of the services provided by the physical travel agencies, and people used to go to the travel agents, and they like for booking of any ticket, the air travel or a train. Most of the times, people used to go to the travel agents physically, going there and booking was the main activity. But what happened between 2000 and 2020, there was some change. This shift has again moved to the Asian countries, particularly the Southeast Asian countries, to some extent India also. Now Sri Lanka. So these were the popular destinations, and the Middle East and the Latin American countries. Yes, Dubai, certain Gulf countries. They started attracting the tourists. And yeah, one major change that happened. If you look at even in India, that when I always quote this Mr. Amitabh Kant, who was the Joint Secretary in Ministry of Tourism, who was, the person creating this the campaign called Incredible India. He always says that the tourism is a private player's game. It is not a government's game. Always, the private players should enter and they should provide service. They should start the developing the infrastructure, or maybe hotels, or destination development. Anything that you take, it should be private centric. Only government should take a responsibility in terms of controlling, or a policy making, or looking after certain, like making a checks and balances, all these things. But uh, when it comes to the development, the government should not play a major role. So with that, if you look at what they did is later, they clearly followed in India also, that, with the tourism policy 2002, they have given more priority to the private players, and accordingly, private players enter into the tourism, and added to that the liberalization policy. 97 After 1997, they have given 100% of option for foreign direct investment in India. With that, we could see a lot of hotel chains coming into India, and along with that, supporting for the public-private partnership schemes. With that, we could see at least the major cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi. Of course, Chennai is not a government airport, but Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, these cities, they developed new airports under the public-private partnership, and it was a private players game purely. So with that, we could see a lot
Sir,
of
sir,
change.
sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, is it possible to move the slides? Slides are not
It is
moving.
not
So,
We are in
if
first slide actually. We are in the
uh,
presentation on manifestation on tourism and contemporary slide.
Oh, you should have told, sir.
yes,
No, no, I was.
yes, yes. Okay, okay. So
So is it
accordingly,
clear
we'll move
now?
ahead.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes, clear,
changing
clear.
production and consumption patterns.
Oh, okay. I was talking about this.
Yes,
No,
sir.
if
Okay,
anything
no,
is there in
Thank you.
between, please, you can interrupt. It's not an issue, because technology, although we have so many advantages, sometimes it will create problems. So yeah, so what is happening, as I mentioned about the changing patterns in terms of the development of the infrastructure, the new destinations. Yes, the period between 2000 to 2020 was, the main period that we can say, where the private players entry took place, and they played a major role in developing the infrastructure, or coming up with new tourism destinations, or new services. So not just infrastructure, but creating new products also, like theme parks. There are certain things, if you look at, that happened. Places like, initially it was only limited to the destinations which were already, like, having some importance culturally, or historically, pilgrimage point of view, or naturally to some extent. But now, after 2000, what we could see is that, because of the private players entry, there was a huge change in the development of infrastructure, and not just creating infrastructure, but also developing a new tourism products. Like if you take Hyderabad, Ramoji Film City, like it is one of the major tourist attraction for the visitors in Hyderabad, which is purely developed by the private agencies. And if you look at Hyderabad, again, for the development of tourism, international airport is playing a key role. Similarly, Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, these airports were purely developed by the private players under the public-private partnership. That was one of the major changes that happened during the 2020s, and that has contributed to the growth of tourism in India. Then, of course, in general, if you look at the technological point of view, there was a huge contribution for the development of new booking platforms. What we have seen during that period is that not simply relying on travel agents physically going there and booking, but we had several online platforms where we have option of booking them, not just for the airlines, but also for the tourist destinations and hotels or several other things. But yeah, in the recent past, particularly the post pandemic, what we have seen is that that is even more different. These destinations are becoming more like even more hyper diverse destinations, and the tourists are more interested in experiencing the niche forms of tourism, that is rural tourism, or maybe the creative tourism, or moving to the natural areas, or maybe wellness, or maybe hiking, like physical activity related based on the tourism destinations. That was a major shift happened, and it was maybe because of the pandemic also. People started, and when it comes to the booking of the different services in terms of accommodation or food, or maybe travel, like we got even more different platforms, economy based platforms, where before 2000, of course, in the mid in the transition period also we had such opportunity, but in the post pandemic the importance was given. And now you can travel even without staying in a not you need not to stay in a 4-star or 5-star hotel in a tourist destination. Like you can stay in a normal guest house, or maybe some a simple accommodation, without food or with food, all different kind of options that we have seen. When it comes to the business point of view, yes, it is a huge change that these platforms have given an opportunity where you need not to invest much, you need not to have anything on your own, but you can just create a business. Such kind of platforms like Airbnb, or when it comes to the accommodation, and when it comes to the transport, like we have a different options, particularly in the cities or major, the urban areas, you have different platforms to book the travel services. And that is also one of the changes that we could see in the recent past. Of course, the experience of tourism also changing now. People are oriented towards smart tourism. Accordingly, the destinations are also focusing on such activities now. Still, it will take time, but if you look at, in the recent past, I've seen some destinations like some national parks. Recently, I have visited, Munnar. There, the national park, they have integrated, like before entering into going for the safari, you can experience the destination via AR/VR technology. They have this small lab where you can, experience the tourism. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that the destinations are trying to showcase their products to the visitors in a different or experiential way, where they can see what exactly the destination, what are the different components, and all these things are possible. That is because there is a change in the technology, and it will make even more convenient to the tourist, and tourist can also decide based on that whether to avail certain services or not. So other than technology, yes, now there is a huge focus on sustainability, because of whatever the issues and challenges that we are facing throughout the world. We could see like sustainable tourism as an alternative approach. If not 100%, yes, to some extent it would contribute to overcome the challenges, where it would contribute, minimizing the negative impacts, and maximizing the positive benefits in the tourism destinations. And accordingly, in the process of planning, development, or implementation of the different projects, there is a consideration of the sustainability aspects. But that was not the case earlier. But now like during this transition period, it was just a suggestion from the policy suggestion from the government. But in the post-pandemic, now most of the destination they are making it a compulsion. So, so that is one change we can see. Like in terms of a consumption of a tourist behavior point of view or a demand point of view, yes, before 2000 it was mainly centered to the middle class or the upper middle class. Most importantly, the travel was focused limited to the elite community, and it was more of a packaged tours and only going through the travel agents and tour operators, and they were mostly the seasonal travel patterns, like visiting during a particular season, maybe in the summer or for certain destinations in the the winter. But yes, it was mostly of seasonal in travel, and yeah, the communication of or a branding or whatever, if you look at, mostly it was through the brochures or the agents, or maybe to some extent electronic media, but not much. But the electronic media played a key role in the transition period. Yeah, in the transition period, what happened, that shift again moved from elite community to mass tourism, because uh, of improved connectivity or increased accessibility. It was easy for the people to travel, and accordingly, the destinations also developed so many other basic facilities or amenities. With that, we could see a lot of change of travel of the tourist to the popular tourist destination. Yeah, it was mainly limited to the popular, but yes, it was kind of a mass tourism, you can say. And yes, that was the period where like electronic media, particularly the internet, through reviews or blogs, to some extent they played a major the major role in influencing the tourist. And yeah. Then, comparatively, there was a change, like from seasonal to more of the regular or a shorter tour, the trips were made. Then, when it comes to the recent past, that is a post-pandemic, yes, it is of a more experience-driven travel. They were now tourists are more interested towards authenticity, experiencing the local culture, interacting with the local people. Like forms like a creative tourism or experiential tourism is becoming popular aspects. And digital platforms the social media or influencers, or they are playing a major role. And one can even come up with their own itinerary by using different technologies like AI and several other platforms. And business activity, I mean, the business tourist, leisure tourist, business plus leisure is becoming an important aspect. Now people are more worried about the safety and security, hygiene, and all these things. And there is an improvement in that. Accordingly, the destinations are focusing more on the safety security aspects. When we talk
Sorry
about the
to
tour,
disturb you, sir. We can see the slide changing production and the consumption patterns.
yeah, I'm in that only. I'm in that
Yeah,
only.
in
Sure.
that slide only. No? Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking more time. Let me quickly try to complete this. Yes, um, yeah, the geographical spread, as I said, like initially it was limited to, in the early stage, it was limited to the Europe and USA. Now, I mean, a transition period, like most of the South Asian countries were popular now. All new destinations are emerging now. And when it comes to the transport, yes, it was easy. It was not easy in the early period, in terms of air travel or anything that you take, it was costly affair. Now we have even better options. And yes, when it comes to the economic contribution, to the GDP, it was less because there was no infrastructure development. It was limited to only some popular already well established tourist destination. But now we are creating a new tourist destination. When we create a new tourist destination, certainly we are developing the infrastructure, we are developing the connectivity, transportation, all these things. Certainly these things would contribute to the GDP. That means now the tourism is contributing for more GDP, similarly for a more employment generation. So yes, what is most important thing is that now tourism is more of a globalized activity. Of course, it is a global activity. We are even more interconnected with several aspects, and so because of that, like if you look at in the past, that was not so. So whatever the impact or whatever the destruction or whatever the negative impacts, they were only limited to those destinations. But what happened later, started impacting a larger the destinations as a country or a regions it affected. But what we see in the recent past, particularly in the post pandemic period, is that whatever these global impact in terms of the war or terrorist activities or pandemics, these are affecting globally. For example, now what is happening in the global situation we have experienced, like COVID-19 situation. It affected the entire world. But later in the recent, like the present war, what is happening between the Iran and Israel, of course, USA, although it was limited to a certain geographical area, it is affecting international tourism, because we have like hubs for international air connectivity, like Dubai, Qatar. These places, like people are afraid to travel via those destinations. And most importantly, that we thought like a domestic tourism would not affect, but domestic tourism is also affecting because of the LPG. So many hotels and restaurants, they were increased the price for the food, and certain hotels, they are not selling certain cuisines or certain food items. So that is the situation because of the global impacts on tourism. Okay, so with this, I would like to move to the next. I think now you can see the change of slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what are these different forms of tourism? These forms are basically, you can see, yeah, there are two, like when we talk about the literary point of view or the literature point of view, there is a ambiguity or a confusion over the use of forms of tourism and types of tourism. Generally, when we use the word forms, yes, it is interchangeable in certain documents, even including the event tourism documents. They are using forms of tourism in certain cases, types of tourism in certain cases. But yes, for our understanding, when I say the forms of tourism, we are basically talking about the attraction based or destination based. When we talk about the types of tourism, I say it would be mainly limited to uh, what you call the geographical limitation in terms of the movement of the tourist. That is domestic tourism, international tourism, or inbound tourism or outbound tourism. Those things we can consider under the types of tourism, whereas the forms of tourism is basically resource based tourist attraction. So those things can be based on the uh, attractions, based on the culture or based on the nature, or maybe it will be based on the activity. There are some alternative approaches, and we are also calling them as a forms of tourism. So when we talk about attractions, the uh, attractions can be based on the culture or based on the nature, or man-made attractions are also there. So when we talk about the culture-based attractions, they are the forms of tourism. For example, art tourism, archaeological tourism, food tourism, pilgrimage tourism, ancestral tourism. These all are based on the culture. We have created forms of tourism, and we have a different, the nature into different forms, like water or the land forms, or climatic conditions, or the biodiversity in terms of the plants and animals. And these are the attractions. Based on this nature, we can say there are different forms, like hill station tourism, or wildlife tourism based on animals, based on plants. We can have a forest tourism or a garden tourism, something like that. Based on the land, we can have a hill station tourism or a desert tourism, or a plain areas, maybe some kind of cave tourism. Those things comes under such kind of examples. Then we have activity based forms of tourism. Yes, the tourists are interested in taking certain forms of tourism into consideration for their booking. based on activities. It could be a activity again, we can say soft adventure activities or hard adventure activities, walking tours or trekking and sports tourism. These things comes under the activity, where the people are involved in actively in activity based forms of tourism. Then of course these all are mostly like mixed in nature. We cannot separate most of the times because although we are interested in experiencing certain form of tourism, like as we have a destinations like a primary and secondary destinations in the products also, although our intention is also to visit or experience certain products primarily. Along with that, the secondary benefits will also be there. For example, if you are interested to experience maybe some wildlife tourism in a particular national park, there may be a culture also. Yeah, primary intention is to visit the destination to experience the wildlife, but there may be some tribal community living in that area. You may experience the culture, or maybe experiencing the local food. You can't exactly separate everything from the nature, culture, and activities. Sometimes maybe a combination of one or two, or maybe multiple attractions or the forms. Yes, we do have alternative forms of tourism. That is, it is in fact not an attraction. It is an alternative approach to overcome the negative impacts of tourism to maximize the positive benefits. And it's a philosophical aspect, we can say, the theoretical aspect, where the alternative approaches can be implemented in the process of planning to the implement development or production, consumption, every aspect you take. And also it is applicable for every form of tourism, based tourism, culture based tourism. So they are like sustainable tourism, responsible tourism, green tourism. These are not attractions. Of course, it's becoming, if any destination maintains very well like a green tourism practices, it will become attraction. But primarily it is not an attraction. It is an alternative approach to overcome the negative impacts, which can be integrated different aspects of planning, operations, marketing, every aspect. Okay. So with this, I would like to show maybe few forms of tourism. There are more than 300 forms, as I mentioned. But yes, I would like to uh, quickly show you few forms of tourism. Let me start in alphabetical order. That is, starting with accessible tourism. See, accessible tourism become an. See, I don't want to discuss everything. What I wanted to discuss basically. The table form, I've shown you the early 2000 and the transition period from 2000 to 2020 post pandemic. If you apply such concept for every form, it will take more than 2 hours. So that's why I leave it myself, to discuss a few aspects. In that case, yes, accessible tourism is one form of tourism. It is not an attraction. Ultimately, it can be an attraction to some extent, but mostly it is a alternative approach, which was not the priority, which was not there before 2000, except a few destinations. But mainly it was started in the transition period from 2000 to 2020, and we have celebrated even one of the World Tourism Day, tourism for all, including the different abled people. Like accessible, in the accessible tourism, there are different, again, two types of tourism. Accessible tourism, accessible for basically the idea is to provide access to every section of the society, whether the poor or rich, or maybe physically handicapped or mentally challenged. So such kind of people is one aspect. And the senior citizens also comes under that. Providing access to the elderly people is also part of this. Basically the idea is that to provide access to every one in the tourism. There should not be any discrimination based on their physical conditions or the socio-economic conditions. That's the ultimate goal of this accessible tourism. Yeah, if you look at this transitions, like before 2000, it was not a priority. Yes, it was started in 2000, but in the post-pandemic, it was even more important. Now, at least in India, we are looking, like, if you look at the practicality of this form of tourism, most of the hotels are adapting that. Airports are having such kind of thing, and all ASI monuments, they are trying to provide such kind of facilities now. But still, we need to go a long way. But yes, it is happening. So adventure tourism, yes, it's a kind of a niche tourism. You can say there are different kind of adventure activities people are interested. They want to now, particularly this generation is more interested to participate in adventure activities, the different kind of adventure activities, soft and hard adventure activities. Okay. Then, yeah, one of the niche tourism further we can discuss, that is ancestry tourism, which is very popular in Europe, particularly the Scotland is promoting, and even in India, Bihar is experimenting with that because a lot of people in from India they migrated to various places like Mauritius. Now they are giving access to the people from Mauritius, and they can come and they can verify if they have an ancestral roots in Bihar, and if they can find any relevant document, they'll try to provide access to promote to this kind of tourism. But it is already in a practice in European countries because during the World War I and II, or even before that, people like used to travel different places and they settle in different places because of the several reasons. Of course, the main reason is war. So now they have some ancestral roots, and the government is providing some base or some kind of document where they can verify and they can visit, the ancestors. It is happening now. So we can call it as a genealogy tourism also. Yeah, there is a form of tourism, adventure, culture, and ecotourism. It is a common form. I don't want to discuss much, but yes, in any AC tourism, there can be a mixed activities like you can have adventure, culture, eco. For example, if you visit to Angkor Wat, it's kind of a it's located in the forest area. You can feel like a forest, and maybe the cultural monument itself, a culture, and yeah, of course, it can be a kind of adventure if you want to do certain like a trek, walking, or maybe soft adventure activities possible. So like that in India, we have like a Nagarjuna Konda, which is the similar experience. Another niche form tourism is that agri-tourism. Yes, you can call it as a with some changes or the some differentiation. Like it's a form of farm tourism or a kind of a rural tourism or a countryside tourism. You can call it the different names, but agri-tourism is becoming a popular, and it's even more popular in the post-pandemic period. People started visiting such kind of places because it is not a mass tourism, and opposite to mass tourism. So in a the limited number, you can visit all these places. One can experience the rural culture. It's also a kind of experiential tourism. You can say the creative tourism to some extent if you want to learn certain things from those destinations. So of course, archaeological tourism is becoming a popular. People, whatever the region, because of the advancement of technology or awareness, people are interested in, not just visiting also, but also in involving in excavation and several other aspects. Architectural tourism, yes, there are like educational tourism. Particularly a group of people who are interested in architecture, they are visiting certain places and want to try that. And art tourism, yes, art tourism is becoming a popular niche tourism. There are already like several travel agents who are promoting. For example, in Rajasthan, so many travel agents they are promoting a week or 2 weeks art tourism tour packages where the tourists can come and they stay with the local community, maybe in a particular cultural center, and they can learn some art, maybe Mehandi or maybe Rangoli or maybe any kind of art, depending on the local, importance. They can promote such kind of things. So it is already in practice. Then backpack tourism is also becoming a popular. People are interested, as I said, like they're not interested in too many groups, but individual people are interested. The backwater tourism already well promoted in Kerala. Then battlefield tourism, or kind of a dark tourism, you can say. Now there is a huge concentration on dark tourism, particularly focusing on battlefields or the graveyards or these cemeteries. These kind of destinations are becoming a popular. A lot of research going on, and people are also visiting. Of course, India, we are not giving much importance, but in Europe, I could see a lot of people are showing interest to participate in such kind of forms of tourism. Yeah, the bicycle tourism, we can say adventure form tourism, soft adventure, then bus tourism,
Hello, sir. Devashish, sir, I think network issue.
Network issue. Okay, sir,
Yeah,
you can
yeah. So,
continue. Yes, yes. Continue, sir.
Could we please coordinate with the guest if he is facing any connection issues? I believe he will join back soon. In the meantime, let us try to connect with him.
Okay, then let me continue. Just a moment. So is it visible, sir? The PPT is visible?
not yet. I think it
Okay.
will be
Yeah,
visible.
it is
Yes, now it is
visible
visible.
now.
Okay. I'm really sorry uh, that there was a internet problem, so I had to come out and connect my mobile. So generally it won't happen. Maybe I don't know what is the like sudden. Anyway, coming. I think it is clear, right? I'm audible now.
Yes,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So now, yeah. So the different forms I was talking then in that, yes, bird watching tourism. People are more interested in like more in the sense like the niche tourism where the group of people are interested in such kind of activities, but it was not the common practice before 2000. But in a transition we could see a lot of people establishing their own associations or the groups and watching going for this kind of tourism where the bird watching tourism is so expensive that they need to spend lakhs of rupees in a for cameras and also for visiting different places and all. But still, people are practicing such kind of things. Then bike tourism is also becoming a popular. Yes, there are so many new and emerging destinations, including India, like Munnar or hill stations, are becoming a popular destinations for the bike tourism. And the beach tourism, not traditional beach tourism, but people are interested in experiencing in a different way and a responsible way, like underwater, experiencing the underwater biodiversity, scuba diving, or maybe uh, not simply for relaxation, but they want like a special experience based sustainable forms of tourism, for different group of people according to their lifestyle. So that is happening, and the other forms like the niche farms, the beer tourism, where people are interested, like they are going, to the places where where the beer is produced, and they can experience, the beer. Like there are two kind of things again, having a special concert or maybe some event, popularizing the event. You can one can go and they can experience the beer tourism. That is one aspect, but the other aspect is to go to the place where the beer is produced, like a factories. Like I had such experience in Latvia, for example. You can see this image where you can buy a ticket and you can taste all different beers, and you can also understand how the beer is produced, how they are marketing, from the production to consumption, what are the different like things involved. So that one can experience with beer tourism. Similarly applicable like wine tourism, all beverage based tourism is such kind of things. Bookstore tourism is not so popular in India, but yes, it is still I cannot but I can say to some extent, like a certain cities like Delhi, Hyderabad, you can go to certain markets, you can buy the old books. Still it is in a practice. Business tourism is a common, I don't want to discuss, you all know. Yes, canoeing, caravan tourism is becoming a popular in the post-pandemic period. Of course, it was there in the past, but particularly in the post-pandemic times, people are more preferred to have such kind of things now. Most of the state tourism departments are having a caravans. They are promoting caravan tourism, so it is more comfortable and safe for the limited number of people. The cemetery tourism I mentioned in the tourism in the beginning, uh, related to the dark tourism, as it is also such kind of example. Like cheese tourism is also like one of the food and beverage based, like a creative tourism. People are interested in going to the destinations involving in a creative activities in learning certain things, like ikebana making, or maybe flower, the decoration or something like that. The cruise tourism, of course, so that is one. Cultural tourism, anyway, it is like a broader abstract term, but includes so many. It is the dark tourism includes so many things like we were discussing. Like it is, of course, the popular tourist like a tourism farm where the people are interested in India, for example, visiting the Jallianwala Bagh, or maybe certain, the central jails are part of that. The disaster tourism, visiting the disaster affected destinations. Then the drug tourism, of course, it is not legally acceptable in most of the destination, but yes, in Macau and Amsterdam, it is a legal uh, form of tourism. One can really experience that. So ecotourism in a different forms. Now people are interested. Educational tourism, then ethnic tourism, experiencing the ethnic life, and factory or industrial tourism, visiting the places like it's a kind of educational tour, you can say. The farm tourism is, you all know, but it's still in the we can consider a popular form of tourism. Familiarization of the tours, tourism destination through farm tours. Then fashion tourism. Yes, there are certain destinations which could, we could not even say, like we could not even think of. I said in the beginning, most of the tourism destinations traditionally they were based on the culture or nature, but now because of the human intervention, the man-made tourism destinations are becoming a popular. One such popular destination is Dubai, where they did not had much of a culture or nature. However, they created new destinations and promoting the fashion tourism. Now, shopping tourism or fashion tourism is becoming a popular, not just in Paris but also in Dubai and certain places. The festival tourism, yes, people are interested to experience the festivals like Diwali. You can see a lot of people coming, and food tourism, different foods, of course. Yeah, there are now like a different concept of promoting these destinations like creative cities, the UNESCO historic cities based on the popularity of the food. For example, Hyderabad and Lucknow, they were recognized as popular attractions, by the UNESCO, and the people are showing interest to visit such places. Then we have film tourism and film induced tourism also. where the people will film tourism is about visiting the destinations, you know uh, for a filmmaking, and film industry is basically visiting the destinations where the tourists were impacted or induced or basically motivated by looking at certain movies. And flower tourism, of course, visiting the gardens, or there are so many places, Netherlands, even in India, we have such concept. One can go and experience such places. Then food tourism, gambling tourism is, which is not legally accepted, but in most of the destinations, but still it is legal in certain places. It is also one of the popular form. The garden tourism, geotourism. Yes, so geotourism is becoming popular in India. Then golf tourism, helicopter tourism, visiting, experiencing the destinations like with aerial view. Now people are spending, like, not just helicopter tourism, space tourism is also one of such, the costly affair. Uh, then honeymoon tourism, Ikebana, like preparing, making of a Ikebana or showcasing the Ikebana is a part of that. Then island tourism, different islands, literary tourism. This is becoming popular now. Particularly, Kolkata, West Bengal can be considered as one of the popular destination, because there are so many literary works and people, associated with the literary works, like Rabindranath Tagore, and Ravindra Bharati's University, and like that, so many destinations in Europe. They are promoting such kind of places. I had the opportunity to visit these kind of places, like how they are promoting, and the places, how they are creating, the new form of tourism. um, One can experience in that place, like the Shakespeare's birthplace, and where he worked, and where he wrote the different, like, literary works. All these things now they are promoting as a package. So like that, India is also having a scope. The medical tourism is again, in the transition period only we have experienced it, but in the post pandemic, now government is giving a lot of importance. Then MICE tourism is a common form of tourism. Yes, the different like alternative health systems, like medical and wellness tourism, like Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy is becoming a popular. People are interested in such kind of things. Particularly, yoga is a popular one. Then the mining tourism, monsoon tourism in Kerala, they are promoting, and of course, this Meghalaya is also promoting. Music tourism, people are interested in experiencing different musics, nightlife tourism. Pilgrimage is like a common form of tourism. Prison tourism is like in Hyderabad, there is a place, one can experience the prison, how the prison life would be, in terms of, the food and the clothes, everything, it's a 1 day, 1 night package where you can go in the afternoon and come back in next day. One can experience, like, it's quite common in US, Europe, but yeah, in India also now it's becoming popular. So rain tourism, like there are destinations which are having, throughout the year, the rains will be there. Such kind of destination they are promoting, like a Chirapunji. Then the red tourism, it's basically the communist followers. They created such kind of tourism where, the China is promoting actively the red tourism. The communists who are associated with them, those popular figures, visiting their, the graveyards, or maybe memorials, or anything related to that is basically related to red tourism. Then, of course, resorts, visiting rural tourism is a new niche form of tourism. Then, Silk Route tourism, like the ancient trade route, now becoming a popular tourist attraction. Slums, visiting slums and understanding the life of, the people and the slum areas is also the new niche form of tourism. Then the spice route tourism, Kerala is promoting, certain spice routes are having unique, it's a basically a combination of um, ACI said, right, the adventure culture and ecotourism kind of thing, or a biodiversity based product basically. But one can also experience the culture, how this culturally, in the ancient times they created routes, and also visiting these places becoming like kind of adventure activity, I can say. That is also part of that. Then, of course, sports tourism is becoming popular. There are different kind of sports like indoor, outdoor, and all these things. The tea tourism, yes, it was, we did not even thought of such kind of things before 2000, but yes, in the transition period, like it created a demand, but now it's becoming a popular. The literary work is also going well on this thing, and so there are so many places now. They're promoting as a the tea tourism destination. One can go and visit these tea gardens, so they can have a different taste of the tea. They can also understand the production process of the tea, and so many things related to that. So such could be the experience in tea tourism. Of course, theme parks. It's like as I said in the beginning, most of the attractions are either culture based or nature based, but yes, there are certain destinations which is created by created just for the purpose of tourists. Such destinations are emerging now, like Dubai, certain places. Of course, in India also, we almost all the major cities are having such kind of practices. Then train tourism, like it was earlier, like it was just a connectivity, but now of course, it was started in a transition period again in India. But most of the places, traveling through train itself is an experience. It is not simply a transport, but also kind of attraction sometimes, like certain heritage trails, or the trains. That is also something unique experience one can have. The tribal tourism, yes, visiting the tribal destinations to understand the tribal life, all the related aspects is part of that. Then underwater tourism, as I say, like a beach tourism, this adventure tourism, part of that. The underwater tourism, like not just for scuba diving or underwater adventure activities, but also simply to experience the life. One can go and have a, like maybe accommodation, food, everything is possible in under the water. There are certain destinations like in Europe and all, they're promoting that. Then yes, the volunteer tourism is not a attraction or an activity. It is the alternative approach, where the tourist, I mean, as a tourist, one can choose a destination to contribute, in terms of education, or maybe skill development, or maybe teaching on certain like biodiversity conservation, or heritage preservation, something like that. Then walking tourism, yes, hikings are becoming walkings and hikings. Unfortunately, in India, we are not attracting much, although people are interested. Our cities are not supporting such kind of activities, because our cities are not walkable friendly. Most of the heritage cities, even today, the new cities are also having this problem. But otherwise, if you look at most of the European destinations, people prefer to visit the destination by walk, and that is how you can experience majority of the destinations. Almost all the European cities, the tourist destinations can be experienced by walk if better. So that is about walking tourism. Waterfall tourism, yes, so people are interested to see only waterfalls. New destinations are coming, and the destination weddings are becoming a popular. So the wedding tourism is also part of that. Wellness tourism, wildlife tourism, wine tourism. As I said in the beginning, the different the beverages, including wine, beer, all these things are very popular. Yoga retreat, like coming to certain destinations, and not just as a visitor, tourist one day, but also spending maybe several months and years. Also, it's happening. Such kind of forms are emerging now. So zoo tourism. So yeah, with this, I would like to conclude that there the tourism, particularly the manifestation of tourism, that is like the complex. If you look at the complexity of the tourism now, like most of the tourist attractions were simply culture or nature or activity based, but now within that there are new emerging forms of tourism, like the new niche forms of tourism. And accordingly, this is happening because there is a change in the mindset of the people, and change in the experience, changing the consumption patterns, and these things are happening because the whatever the change of the consumption is happening, it's because of the again changing patterns of the productions also. It's vice versa, because people are interested to experience something different or unique or innovative, then accordingly the production is also changing, different, new and innovative. And most importantly, these are affected by, in the past it was not so, but now in the contemporary times, recent past, several events, the economic conditions, or maybe the pandemics, or maybe the war, or whatever, these things are affecting a lot, particularly in development or promotion or experience of these destinations. And so most importantly, the technology is playing a key role, and the sustainability aspects are also becoming important in the process of production and consumption. Both the technology and alternative approaches or the sustainable practices are now well considered, but still there is a long way to go, in order to overcome the negative impacts and maximize the positive ones. So with this, I would like to conclude that there are so many new forms of tourism emerging, forms of tourism which are emerging, and it is changing the shape of the industry, and we are in a critical position, in terms of particularly our academia. So we do not exactly know what is going to happen, because the future is unpredictable. Yes, certain things we can predict, but the new changing patterns in terms of the production, the use of technology, or integrating the technology, if we are not on par with the changing technologies, we'll be lagging behind. Similarly, the tourism destinations. So with this, I would like to close my session by opening the questions or any doubts if you have.
Uh, Sir, thank you for this nice presentation. Am I audible, sir? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So within this short span of time, it was very difficult to explain
Sir,
all.
I can hear you, but the voice is not loud. Very low voice.
Okay, okay. So within this short span of time, it was really very difficult task to explain all different types and forms of tourism. But yes, we tried to cover up. Sir, you have done a a fantastic job. Now it is question answer session. I would like to ask uh, uh, questions from our scholars and students. Scholars first. So whoever wants to ask question. So who can ask question? Susma, would you be asking question? Susma?
Hello? Sir, am
Yes,
I
yes.
audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can ask question.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for the wonderful session. So here I go with the question. Like I want to ask you, sir, if you can share a case where tourism consumption trends directly reshape or destination production strategy.
Can you repeat the question?
Sir, my question is if you can share a case where consumption trends directly reshape our destination production strategy.
Okay. Let me
Sir, sorry to interrupt. I think there is a drop in the internet connectivity.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
if you can switch off your video, then I think the connectivity might improve a better, a bit.
Yes.
I think we have lost, sir.
Yes.
Hmm.
Going last government of Andhra Pradesh. Uh, can you
Sir,
you
we
can hear
can't
me,
hear
right?
you properly. We can't hear you properly, sir. If you can switch off your video, I think the connectivity issue will be a bit better.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm using mobile, maybe because of that.
Yeah, now
So
it's okay. Now
is
it's
it
okay, sir.
Yeah, no, my simple answer is like I wanted to give the case of Hyderabad, where Hyderabad and Dubai, these two things. One in terms of like Hyderabad, initially it was just limited to Charminar, and people did not know much. Like Agra, Kerala, compared to those places, it was lagging behind. But with the then government, Andhra Pradesh government has come up with a tourism strategy 2020 vision document where they try to like whatever I mentioned in terms of integrating the technology and involving the private players in tourism development has given a positive result where places like if you go to Chennai, certain places, the airport, of course they are doing well, I'm not talking in that sense, but airport point of view, like infrastructure point of view, they developed the international airport with the support of the private players under the PPP, and so much of infrastructure has been developed. MICE tourism was developed in Hyderabad. Hyderabad is considered to be Asia's one of the popular, or in fact, world's one of the popular hub for the MICE tourism. Similarly, for the medical tourism, all these things become a popular or the reality because of the changing. The if it was only Charminar, it would have not been so popular. But other things like the man-made creations such as medical tourism, and also the MICE tourism is a new form of tourism which is created with the support of the private players. Before that, all the tourism, even in the government, like they have developed a few hotels constructed by the government, and there was no proper cleanliness, and promoting them was difficult, and misused by all the politicians. This was the case. But whereas because of the changing strategy, particularly involving the PPP, like they have come up with a new PPP policy. So with that, they could develop all new products and supporting infrastructure. So that is one of the major thing I can say. So similarly, Dubai, Dubai, they who do not have anything, but they have created a out of nothing, but they have created a new form of tourism. But fashion tourism, or all new, like luxury tourism. Now most of the Indians are have visiting Dubai, and it's a popular tourist attraction. Like they have come up with the shopping tourism and so on. So, but yeah, there are, like, I don't know, maybe exact, that may not be the exact region, but Goa and certain destinations, I think they are failed to strategize, or maybe to attract the tourists. In the recent past, there is a decline in tourism. Uh, Maybe because of a lack of the involvement, use of technology, or promotion. We don't know exactly, I cannot say exact region, but that is slowly falling because of not withstanding with the changing strategies, I believe. So yes, most of the, yeah, largely if you look at countries, yes, those who are coming up with new technology, or coming with new products, like the shift is happened towards from Europe to Southeast Asian countries and Sri Lanka. So still in India, we are not able to attract because visiting Sri Lanka is cheaper than visiting Kerala. You know that visiting Uttarakhand is costly than visiting Thailand. That is the situation. So in certain cases, yes, still we are lagging behind, and we have to strategize. In that case, maybe if there is some advanced like technological integration and so much of things, maybe some change would be there. So in other aspects, yes, we are lagging behind compared to Europe. The technology is still not 100% integrated. Maybe that is another reason how why we are not developing much. Yeah, but your question, like answer to your question, like simple answer is Hyderabad.
Yes. Okay, so now
All
we
new
will.
products, niche projects are there. I cannot
Yes.
explain all these things in a short period, but yes, all niche products are available in near and nearby Hyderabad.
Okay. So now we would like to move on to another question. Akash
Yes, sir.
Banerjee, would you be asking any question? Akash is our PhD scholar. Uh, Akash?
Sir, first of all, thank you for the wonderful presentation. Uh, my question to you is, in a slide you mentioned about Munnar. Uh, right before entering the Munnar Wildlife Sanctuary, there is a ARVR room where the guests can visit the ARVR room and can see the area. So, as per your uh, as per your visit, how were the guests responding to the ARVR uh, sightseeing and in comparison to the actual sightseeing of the wildlife? I mean, what is the response of the tourists towards the ARVR introduction?
I'm really sorry. There was some disturbance.
Okay.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, in one of your slides, you mentioned that you had visited Munnar, the Munnar Wildlife Sanctuary, right?
Ah, ah, ah.
So, in that slide, you also mentioned that there is a ARVR room where the people have the opportunity to visit the ARVR room, and then they can proceed for the wildlife sanctuary visit. So,
Yes.
what is the response of the tourist of using a VR headset and experiencing the forest? Uh, that because it's a very new technology being introduced in the Indian tourism scenario. So, what is the response of the tourist over there?
No, my observation, like, the tourists are not much interested to experience through AR/VR because anyway they have visit. Like, if they are there at the ticket counter or at the gate, that means they are already decided to go to the place. So, what is more important in that case, like those the typical tourists who are interested in a wildlife, they can experience what exactly, like they can see each and every aspect of the wildlife. In that case, I think it would be helpful for them, but any normal tourist, if they want to experience, it will not make any sense. But let me move beyond that. What is happening now, leaving this Kerala experience, Munnar experience apart, but most of the travel agents now they are promoting by using this technology. Now, if you are going to a particular travel agent, if you are spending lakhs of money to visit Tanzania or maybe popular wildlife sanctuary, they don't mind spending some time and efforts in going to the travel agent and experiencing that destination through AR VR. I heard, I didn't see that, but I heard one my a known travel agent in Hyderabad is promoting in such a way that if any tourist comes, they are providing a typical AR VR experience of the destination, so that they will have a different feel, and immediately, like that will influence them to take a decision to book the ticket to visit a particular destination. In that way, yes, it will work, but at the destination, still it will take time, because we have all kind of people visiting the destination, because as part of the tour package they may be visiting, not necessarily because they are interested in a wildlife or anything. Yes, those who are interested in a particular niche tourism or a particular farm or a product, if they are visiting, if the governments are going to provide such experiences in advance, booking, before booking the tickets, certainly it's going to be a big change in the industry, and that is happening also. Now it is not just limited to the destinations, but yes, most of the governments are trying to promote such kind of practices, going to their certain offices, but still it will take time, but certainly the travel agents are promoting that even in India.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So now I would like to call upon Marisa Sarkar, one of our senior students. She wants to ask something. Yes,
Yeah.
Marisa, you can You can ask question.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm a third year student, and first of all, I would like to say that it was such an insightful session. Thank you so much. So, my question for you is that if an entrepreneur or a small business owner they start a particular type of tourism business, it can be ecotourism, can be medical, heritage, cultural tourism. So, can they always guarantee that they will make profit?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very good question. One of the greatest thing that happened in the transition, like in the contemporary times, it was nowhere possible for such kind of people, even thinking of or entering into the business, except promoting certain rural tourism destinations through the government schemes. But now it is very much possible. The niche tourism is always supporting these kind of small and medium enterprises or the individual entrepreneurs. um, it all depends. Yes, to your answer to your question, will they survive or sustain for long run? It all again depends on so many factors. If the product is if something unique, something innovative, definitely they will survive. But along with, because these forms, when we say niche, it means it will be something unique which may not be a common for everyone or every aspect everywhere. So in that case, if they are providing the quality services and all, yes, it is possible, but it all subject to the government support initially. Maybe some government schemes or anything like with that they should support understanding what exactly the tourism, why, like how they can sustain for a long time with innovative promotion or services and everything. Yes, if they are well aware and trained in those areas, it will sustain. Otherwise, just thinking only commercialization of making like over a period of from what happens, they may be getting a good response like in terms of a number of tourists, but they may lose the originality and authenticity, then it will be a difficult task. So I cannot say it is like 100% yes. It all subject depends, like subject to the government support and also they're like the individual promotional activity and so on.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, maybe the last question that I am going to, uh, our one of our students is going to ask, that is Konkona. Konkona is there? Yes, Konkona, you can ask your question. She's from
Yes,
another batch.
sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. My question is, in future, may we divide the types of tourism into need-based tourism and tourism that can be deferred?
It is already happening. It is already happening. There are people who are not going in a mass, but they, like, if you are interested, like if maybe some handicraft making, or maybe if you are interested in like only knowing much about the conservation, or maybe just watching wildlife, or any individual activity based interest, certainly going to be the niche form of tourism that is already happening.
Okay. Aheli is also there. Aheli, would you be asking any question?
Yes, I want to ask a question, sir. That is,
You are,
is there any difference between SIP
you are
and
not
this tourism?
audible. You are not audible. Aheli,
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
voice is not clear. So I
So,
would like to ask, I would like to tell Vanita to ask question. Vanita,
Good morning, sir. Sir, am I
Morning.
audible?
Yes, yes, please.
So my question is, what are the basic difference between special interest tour package and conventional tour package for leisure tourism?
little louder, Vanita.
What is the question?
So
Difference between special interest tourism and
special interest tour package and conventional tour package for leisure tourism?
Sorry, I'm not able to understand.
Sir, she is asking the difference between special interest tour package and conventional tour packages for leisure tourism. I mean, with regard to the
Special
formation.
interest, yeah, okay, yeah, special interest tourism, like it is a, of course, it was there earlier also. Whereas, it will be a tailor-made or a curated tour package, depending on your interest. But traditionally, what happened, most of the travel agents, they used to have some tour packages, like some limited destinations, like, they might be having some on services, vendors and everyone. Accordingly, they used to promote, but now the difference, like, difference is that the travel agents are also providing the curated, the special interest tourism packages, but mostly it is not a traditional or a well-known tour travel agents or the tour operations, but it is basically a uh, new entrants who are specialized in a particular aspect. They are providing such kind of things
Okay, sir.
by using
Yes, sir.
technology and so many other things they are doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are running short of time, and we are not going to take any more question. Now it is the time for vote of thanks. So on behalf of everyone present here, I extend my heartfelt vote of thanks to Dr. Reddy for delivering such a insightful and engaging online session on the production, consumption, and distribution pattern of tourism. Your valuable perspective and clear explanations have greatly enriched our understanding of contemporary tourism dynamics. We are truly grateful for your time, effort, and expertise. I would also like to thank all our participants for their active involvement, which made this session even more meaningful. Thank you once again, Dr. Reddy, for an enlightening experience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all the participants for your time and patience.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.